top leader of the Tijuana drug cartel has now been placed on the FBI's 10 most wanted list.
Anna Chapman is back in the news. Now the face of the recent spy scandal is being sued by a glossy magazine.
Did you know that some women have reached positions of power in organized crime, defying all expectations? Throughout history, we've often heard about men dominating the world of crime, but the women who have risen to the top in this dangerous game of power, ambition, and wealth are proof that the temptation to have it all knows no gender. Today, we will explore the stories of 10 women who not only survived, but thrived, thanks to their cunning, intelligence, and determination. Are you brave enough to discover how they earned a place in a world dominated by men? Stay with us as we unravel the secrets of these powerful women who left their mark on organized crime. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating stories.
Pablo Escobar, wasn't for Griselda Blanco, there would be no Pablo Escobar.
Number 10. Jemica Thompson, the Queen of Crack. Jemica Thompson is a fascinating figure in the criminal history of the United States, especially known for her crack empire during the 1980s drug epidemic. Over the course of her career, Thompson built a vast narcotics distribution network in south-central Los Angeles, an area ravaged by violence and poverty, making her one of the most powerful women in a traditionally male-dominated world. Her rise to power in the drug trade was marked by her cleverness, ambition, and willingness to risk everything to gain wealth and control.
You know, and even when I forgot, as he was talking, I forgot, my dad left.
Jemica Thompson's story begins with her childhood in Los Angeles, marked by extreme poverty. At 8 years old, she witnessed an event that would change her life forever. Her family was evicted from their apartment, and their belongings were left out on the street. This incident instilled in Thompson the desire for power and wealth, and the need to escape misery. During her teenage years, she excelled in athletics, which led her to meet Anthony Daff Mosley, a key drug dealer in the crack trade. Together, they began trafficking drugs, and in 1980, they married, solidifying their criminal partnership. Thompson and her husband bought a mansion in Encino, California, and their life reflected the luxury gained from their illicit business. By 1984, Jemica had expanded her distribution network nationally, organizing a vast operation that spanned several cities. She used a legitimate hair distribution company as a front for her operations, allowing her to launder money from crack sales. But despite her efforts to keep a low profile, the police soon began to suspect her business. The turning point in her career came when her partner Percy Cheese Bratton was arrested with a large amount of narcotics and, in exchange for a deal with the authorities, began providing information about Thompson's activities. At the age of 31, Jemica was arrested during her son's 6th grade graduation, marking the end of her reign in the drug trade. She was charged with money, laundering, and conspiracy to distribute narcotics, and was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Despite her imprisonment, Jemica Thompson's story received widespread media coverage, and her figure became a symbol of survival and female empowerment in the world of crime. She appeared on an episode of Drug Lords on Netflix, which detailed her rise in the crack trade and the fortune she amassed before her downfall. Jemica Thompson not only left a significant mark on the drug trade, but also proved that women could play a crucial role in a business marked by violence and machismo. Her story is a testament to how, in a world of power and crime, women can also reach the heights of power, becoming key figures in drug distribution networks. Although her criminal life ended with her incarceration, her legacy endures as an example of ambition, struggle, and resilience. Number 9. Enadina Arellano Felix, the matriarch of the Tijuana cartel. Enadina Arellano Felix, one of the most powerful and enigmatic figures of the Tijuana cartel, proved that women could hold the same control and power as men in the world of drug trafficking. Her rise to the leadership of the cartel changed the dynamics of the organization and defied societal expectations. Born on April 12, 1961, in Mazatlan, Sinaloa, Enadina Arellano Felix grew up in one of the most influential families in Mexico's drug trade. The Arellano Felix family, known for their control over the Tijuana cartel, was in constant conflict with other cartels in the region, including the Sinaloa cartel and the Gulf cartel. Although Enadina was not the most visible figure of the organization, her behind-the-scenes role was crucial from the start. Unlike her brothers, who were known for their brutality and violent tactics, Enadina stood out for her intelligence and financial acumen. As the Tijuana cartel gained power, she took charge of the organization's financial management, becoming the primary person responsible for money laundering and managing the cartel's resources. Her background as an accountant allowed her to grow the cartel's fortune without raising too much suspicion from the authorities. In the 2000s, after her brother Eduardo's arrest and the death or imprisonment of most of her other brothers, Enadina took full control of the Tijuana cartel, becoming one of the few women to lead a cartel of such magnitude. Enadina redefined the way the Tijuana cartel operated, distancing it from the violence and chaos of traditional methods. Instead of resorting to indiscriminate killings, she favored strategic alliances and negotiations with other criminal organizations. This approach allowed her to maintain the cartel's stability and ensure its survival under the pressure of law enforcement. Thanks to her calculated approach and ability to manage the organization's finances, Enadina turned the Tijuana cartel into a key player in drug trafficking and other illicit activities in North America. Her ability to navigate the dangerous world of narcotics earned her the respect of her collaborators, who saw her not only as a powerful woman, but as a strategic leader, capable of keeping the organization united in a sea of chaos. The story of Enadina Arellano Felix demonstrates that women can defy expectations and rise to leadership positions in any field, even in the most dangerous and male-dominated environments. Number 8. Rosetta Cutolo, the mastermind of the Camora's hidden game. When the Camorra is mentioned, the first images that come to mind are often those of loud, larger-than-life mafiosos and action-filled scenes. However, within this dangerous criminal organization, there was one figure who operated in a completely different way: Rosetta Cutolo. The sister of Raffaele Cutolo, the infamous leader of the Nuova Camorra Organizzata, Rosetta was the behind-the-scenes figure, the cool head behind the Camorra's power, surprising everyone with her ability to manipulate people and execute strategic operations without ever being seen.
It's one of the largest drug busts to ever happen in Italy.
Born in January 1937 in Naples, Italy, Rosetta's life was far from that of the typical mafia woman. She didn't seek fame or unnecessary luxuries. Instead, Rosetta cultivated an image of simplicity, living in the quiet village of Ottaviano, near Naples, tending to her rose garden and living with her mother. But this apparent modesty was the perfect disguise for a woman who ruled a criminal empire from the shadows. Unlike her brother Raffaele, known for his interviews filled with impactful quotes and his attention-grabbing personality, Rosetta never sought the spotlight. Her power lay in her discretion. Her nickname, Occhi di Ghiaccio, Eyes of Ice, reflected her ability to make calculated decisions with no display of emotion. This nickname not only alluded to her cold gaze, but also to her ruthless skill in managing the Nuova Camorra's operations without anyone suspecting her direct involvement. Despite staying under the radar, Rosetta played a crucial role in the expansion and strengthening of the Camorra. While her brother Raphael was in prison, it was she who kept the organization's operations running. From her hideaway, she issued orders, controlled finances, and negotiated with other criminal groups, including South American drug cartels. What made Rosetta truly special was her ability to create a loyal network of followers, people willing to do anything for her without questioning her decisions. One of the most notorious episodes in her career was the attempt to blow up a police station in Naples. This bold act of violence, which almost succeeded, solidified her image as a fierce woman capable of defying law enforcement without fear. However, her story wasn't just one of violence. She was also an exceptionally astute businesswoman who used her sharp mind to gain respect and power in the criminal underworld. Rosetta Cutolo's story didn't end in the dark prisons of the mafia. In fact, her life inspired the film Il Camarista, which highlights the mysterious aura that always surrounded her. The film depicts Rosetta as a woman who moved within the most powerful circles of the Camorra without needing to raise her voice. The reality was that although she never publicly portrayed herself as a camarista, a term referring to women who perform menial tasks for the mafia, Rosetta was the true leader behind the curtains, the hidden force that kept the organization running. In addition to her strategic role, Rosetta participated in important conferences between the Sicilian mafia and the Camorra clans, demonstrating her influence in criminal negotiations and international alliances. Her figure began to gain respect within organized crime circles, and her name was mentioned with both fear and admiration. In 1981, Italian authorities finally began to track Rosetta. However, like any good mafia leader, she knew how to disappear when needed. In a daring escape, Rosetta was hidden under a carpet and transported in a vehicle by a local priest who helped her escape without detection by the police. This maneuver was so successful that Rosetta remained off the radar for more than a decade, overseeing Camorra operations from various hideouts across Italy. Her ability to move under the radar and avoid capture for so long only made her figure more legendary in the criminal world. However, in 1993, Rosetta made a decision that surprised many. After years of evading authorities, she turned herself in. "I'm tired of being a fugitive," she said at the time of her surrender, a statement that surprised everyone with its sincerity and the courage it took to leave behind her life on the run. She was sentenced to 9 years in prison for her ties to the Camorra, but her sentence was eventually reduced to 5 years as she managed to convince authorities of her innocence by projecting a humble and gentle demeanor. Her brother Raphael, always a defender of her image, insisted that she was never directly involved in criminal activities, but only carried out orders. However, the true nature of her role remains in the shadows, and although she was never judged as a camarista, it is well known that her involvement in the organization was much deeper than has been publicly acknowledged. Number 7. Maria Licciardi, the Queen of the Camorra of Naples. Maria Licciardi, a woman who rose dramatically in the criminal world of Naples, broke gender barriers and consolidated her position within one of the most feared clans of the Camorra. Through her bold leadership and relentless skills, she proved that women could lead in a world traditionally dominated by men. Born in 1951 in the Secondigliano district of Naples, Maria Licciardi grew up in an environment where violence and organized crime were a part of daily life. Her family's fate was deeply tied to the world of the Camorra, as her father was a clan boss, and both her brothers and her husband were imprisoned or murdered. This family tragedy didn't weaken Licciardi. Rather, it propelled her to take control of the Secondigliano clan in the late 1990s, when many of the male leaders were arrested or killed, leaving a power vacuum. While other women in the mafia were relegated to more traditional roles, such as assisting with drug trafficking or performing domestic duties, Licciardi exceeded these expectations. Not only did she manage drug trafficking, cigarette smuggling, and extortion, but she was also capable of making crucial decisions, managing resources, and overseeing illegal operations with the same skill as her male counterparts. Her ability to make strategic decisions earned her the respect and fear of those within the Camorra. During her leadership, Licciardi stood out for her ability to negotiate between the warring factions of the Neapolitan mafia. She promoted the idea of collaboration and unity among the clans, convincing her rivals that cooperation would bring greater economic benefits than constant violence. This policy of pacification led to a period of relative peace in Naples, which allowed the Camorra to operate more efficiently with fewer deadly confrontations. However, her leadership wasn't without its challenges. A shipment of contaminated drugs from Istanbul triggered a series of violent confrontations between clans. Although Licciardi had ordered the defective products to be returned, a rival group ignored her orders, leading to violent retaliation from the addict base. This situation shattered the fragile peace Licciardi had built, sparking a brutal series of reprisals. In response, Licciardi organized a bloody vengeance that resulted in the deaths of about 30 people, further cementing her reputation as a fierce and calculating woman. Her strategy to stay in power included eliminating those who opposed her and strengthening her relationships within the criminal network. In 1999, the Neapolitan police issued an arrest warrant for Licciardi, but she managed to escape. For years, she remained hidden while her figure became a legend in the criminal world. It wasn't until 2001, when she was caught during a routine traffic check on the outskirts of Naples, that her long escape ended. Since then, she has remained in prison, but her legacy as one of the most powerful women in the Camorra endures. Number 6. Sebastiana Cotton Vasquez, the Queen of Central American drug trafficking. Sebastiana Cotton Vasquez is yet another woman who defied expectations and built a criminal empire around drug trafficking in Central America. Her story is one of cunning, ferocity, and perseverance, capable of moving tons of drugs through several countries in Latin America, all while maintaining a low profile and operating in the shadows. Born in Malacoton, Guatemala, Vasquez came from a background of poverty, but quickly developed a unique ability to navigate the world of organized crime. Known by her nickname Cotton and also as La Doña, Vasquez became a key figure in narcotics, trafficking operations connecting Colombia, Guatemala, Mexico, and the United States.
And officials say law enforcement has dealt a major blow to a Colombian drug organization.
With links to some of the most powerful cartels, including the Sinaloa cartel, Vasquez not only trafficked drugs, but also engaged in money laundering and other illicit activities. In 2012, during a trial in Nicaragua, it was revealed that Vasquez was responsible for trafficking 40,000 kilograms of narcotics, an impressive volume that highlighted the scale of her operation. She also used smart strategies to hide her profits, such as investing in real estate and legitimate businesses. Her trafficking network spanned multiple countries, and her ability to manage other women in the business allowed her to consolidate even more power. Cotton Vasquez's influence was such that, despite being arrested and imprisoned, her presence in the drug trade never disappeared. Sources suggest that she was released in 2019, and rumors say she returned to her hometown, though her current whereabouts remain unclear. The story of Sebastiana Cotton Vasquez exemplifies how women, often overlooked in the narrative of organized crime, have played a crucial role in international drug trafficking networks. Her rise and shrewdness demonstrate that women not only survive in organized crime, but can also lead and control large-scale operations with success. Number 5. Leticia Rodriguez Lara, the Queen of the Riviera Maya. Leticia Rodriguez Lara, known as the Queen of the Riviera Maya, is one of the most feared and powerful figures in Mexico's drug trafficking world. Her control over Quintana Roo, a world-famous tourist destination known for places like Cancun, Cozumel, and Playa del Carmen, made her one of the most significant drug traffickers in recent Mexican history. Through her connections with the Sinaloa cartel and her eventual independence, Rodriguez Lara established herself as a key player in the drug trade to the United States and other parts of the world. The story of Leticia Rodriguez Lara is fascinating due to her meteoric rise in the world of organized crime. Before getting involved in drug trafficking, Leticia had been a member of the Federal Judicial Police, which gave her a strategic advantage over her rivals. Her entry into the criminal world was marked by her association with Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, leader of the Sinaloa cartel, who trusted her to secure drug trafficking routes from Colombia to Mexico, especially for shipments to the United States. Over the years, Rodriguez Lara expanded her influence, building relationships with various local gangs in Quintana Roo. As her power grew, she distanced herself from El Chapo and began forming her own cartel, which quickly gained notoriety. Her rise to leadership within the Gulf Cartel was marked by her ability to eliminate rivals, including the brutal Zetas group and the Polonese faction of another cartel. Violence in the region escalated, particularly in Cancun, where clashes between her group and the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, CJNG, triggered a wave of mutilations and threats. One of the most striking aspects of her story was the impunity with which she operated. In 2017, Leticia was arrested in the state of Puebla, almost a month after her son had also been captured. During her arrest, authorities discovered over 1,500 safe deposit boxes filled with hidden money under various names, revealing the magnitude of her illicit operations. In April 2018, she was formally charged with organizing and managing organized crime operations, which significantly weakened her influence in the region. The arrest of Leticia Rodriguez Lara dealt a heavy blow to organized crime in Quintana Roo, a region known for its vibrant tourist industry. The fall of the Queen of the Riviera Maya not only marked the end of her empire, but also exposed the significance of drug trafficking in renowned tourist destinations. Her story is a reminder that narco-traffic doesn't just operate in remote areas, but has managed to infiltrate key commercial and global tourism hubs. Number 4. Anna Vassilievna Chapman, the spy who became an icon. In the world of espionage and intelligence, few names have caused as much uproar as Anna Vassilievna Chapman. Her story is not only filled with mystery, but it also reflects how a spy can transform a life of secrets and deceit into a career of fame and notoriety. Born on February 23, 1982, in Kharkiv, Ukraine, Chapman was the daughter of Vasily Kushchenko, a high-ranking member of the KGB and later of the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. From an early age, politics and intelligence were part of her DNA, but her fate would take an unexpected turn, leading her to become one of the most recognizable names in modern espionage. Anna Vassilievna Chapman was more than just a spy. Her story is a narrative of how intelligence operations can go undetected for years before being uncovered in a spectacular arrest. After moving to the United States, Chapman used her British citizenship, obtained through marriage, to integrate into American society. However, her true mission was far more secretive. She was accused of being part of a network of Russian spies operating in the US under the cover of ordinary citizens. On June 27, 2010, her life of secrets ended abruptly when she was arrested in a Manhattan cafe. In an FBI operation, an undercover agent handed Chapman a fake passport and asked her to send it to another spy. The exchange was a trap, and following the instructions of her father, Vasily Kushchenko, Chapman chose to deliver the passport to the police, resulting in her arrest. The arrest of Anna Chapman shook the intelligence world and captured global media attention. After pleading guilty to conspiring to act as an agent for a foreign government, she was deported to Russia in a historic spy swap on July 8, 2010. Chapman's return to Russia made her an instant celebrity. Far from being just a spy, Chapman became a prominent public figure, participating in television shows, modeling, and later venturing into politics. With her stunning beauty and ties to the world of intelligence, Anna earned the nickname the Red under the bed, a reference both to her Russian connections and her mysterious life. Upon her return to Russia, she became a cultural icon, hosting her own TV show and dazzling audiences with her sophisticated style and charismatic presence. Anna Chapman capitalized on her fame to establish herself as an influential figure in Russian society. From hosting events to attending exclusive high-end clubs in New York, Chapman's life was filled with luxury and constant media attention. Her post-espionage life marked a transition from secrecy to fame, as she embraced a public persona far removed from her former covert existence. Number 3. Griselda Blanco Restrepo, the Black Widow of drug trafficking. Griselda Blanco Restrepo, known as La Viuda Negra, the Black Widow, was one of the most powerful and feared drug traffickers in history. Her criminal career began in Medellin, Colombia, but it was in Miami where she reached the height of her cocaine empire. challenging everyone, including the Medellin cartel, and leaving an indelible mark on the world of drug trafficking. Born in Cartagena, Colombia, in 1943, Blanco moved to Medellin as a child, where she began to forge her ruthless leadership character. From a young age, she exhibited a cold, criminal mindset. At just 11 years old, she had already kidnapped a child for ransom. However, it was in the 1970s when she moved to New York and entered the world of drug trafficking, using fake passports to evade the law. Later, she moved to Miami, where she cemented her legacy. In the 1980s, Blanco became the undisputed leader of a narcotic network that brought huge quantities of cocaine into the United States, especially through Miami, generating more than $80 million per month. Her empire didn't just deal drugs, it was also marked by extreme violence. During this time, Miami witnessed one of the highest crime waves in its history, known as the Miami Drug Wars. Blanco was captured by the DEA in 1985 and spent several years in prison, though her name was never forgotten. In 2004, after being deported to Colombia, she lived out her final years until her death in 2012. The story of Griselda Blanco has been depicted in multiple documentaries and films, exploring not only her role in drug trafficking, but also her cultural impact and influence on the history of organized crime. Griselda Blanco is a prime example of how a woman, through her intelligence, ambition, and toughness, could dominate a world traditionally ruled by men. Her legacy lives on as a symbol of power in organized crime and as a figure who defied gender norms in an industry defined by violence. Number 2, Angelica San Clemente, Valencia, the Queen of Drug Trafficking. Angelica San Clemente Valencia, a former Colombian beauty queen, transformed into one of the most astute and dangerous drug traffickers of her time. Despite her glamorous past as a model, San Clemente led a parallel life that positioned her as a key figure in international drug trafficking, earning her the nickname the Queen of Drug Trafficking. Her ability to operate within the criminal world was so impressive that even after being captured, she managed to evade justice for a time. Born in Colombia, Angelica San Clemente Valencia gained notoriety after being crowned the National Coffee Queen, a prestigious beauty contest in the country. However, her true ambition lay not on the runway, but in the world of drug trafficking. She entered this world by associating with a Mexican drug trafficker known as El Monstruo, but quickly distanced herself from him to form her own cartel. What made San Clemente particularly dangerous was her ability to recruit young models and use her connections in the modeling industry. Through her network of angels, Angelica employed these women as drug mules, recruiting them to transport cocaine and other substances from Argentina to England, with Cancun serving as a key hub for the trafficking routes. Her operations were highly profitable, generating up to $5,000 per trip. San Clemente's career came to an end in 2009 when one of her models was arrested at Buenos Aires International Airport with 55 kilograms of narcotics. The police discovered that the drugs were exposed, suggesting collaboration from airport personnel. From there, authorities intensified their international search. San Clemente fled Argentina, and Interpol issued a warrant for her arrest. In May 2010, she was finally captured at a hostel in Buenos Aires, where she was hiding under a false identity and had dyed her hair blonde. Despite her capture, her time in prison was marked by violence, prompting authorities to transfer her to a special high-security facility. In an unexpected turn, San Clemente was released before completing her sentence of 6 years and 8 months in 2013. After her release, she was deported back to Colombia, where her story became shrouded in mystery, leaving unresolved questions about her influence and the connections she might still have in the world of drug trafficking. The story of Angelica San Clemente is a clear example of how drug trafficking can not only operate in the shadows of crime, but also hide beneath the surface of beauty and glamour. Her life demonstrates that power in the drug trade doesn't always have the appearance of a traditional criminal, but can also take on more seductive and sophisticated forms. Number 1. Sandra Avila Beltran, the Queen of the Pacific. Sandra Avila Beltran, known as La Reina del Pacífico, the Queen of the Pacific, is one of the most recognized figures in the history of Mexican drug trafficking. Her rise in the drug trade was marked by her ability to navigate the law, maintain strategic relationships with powerful drug lords, and use her cleverness to stay one step ahead of the authorities. Born in Baja California into a family deeply connected to drug trafficking, she became the third generation of traffickers in her family. Throughout her career, she partnered with some of the most influential figures in organized crime in Mexico and Colombia, though she also faced personal losses and relentless pursuit, making her life a series of highs and lows. From a very young age, Sandra Avila Beltran was exposed to the world of organized crime, as her father, Alfonso Villa Quintero, was a cousin of Rafael Caro Quintero, one of the most influential members of the Guadalajara cartel. This family connection enabled her to establish key ties within the drug trafficking world. Her personal life was also marked by relationships with several prominent drug traffickers, such as Juan Diego Espinoza Ramirez, alias El Tigre, a man linked to the Colombian Norte del Valle cartel, who became her close friend and collaborator in drug distribution. Avila Beltran's career began to stand out when she took a central role in cocaine trafficking operations between Colombia and Mexico and its subsequent distribution to the United States. Over the years, her negotiation skills, as well as her willingness to collaborate with powerful cartels like the Sinaloa cartel, made her one of the most prominent figures in Mexican organized crime. Her life took a dramatic turn when her teenage son was kidnapped. Despite her ties to the criminal world, the situation led her to seek help from authorities to rescue him. This cooperation with the police raised suspicions, and after a series of investigations, Sandra and her partner El Tigre were arrested in Mexico City in 2007 after years of surveillance by authorities. The evidence against her was enough to accuse her of money laundering and drug trafficking valued at billions of dollars. Despite her conviction, Avila Beltran maintained a low profile for several years, but was eventually captured in 2012 and extradited to the United States, where she faced even more serious charges related to drug trafficking. During her time in prison, Avila Beltran wrote a book titled La Reina del Pacífico, Tiempo de Hablar, the Queen of the Pacific, Time to Speak, based on interviews with journalist Julio Scherer. Sandra Avila Beltran remains a key figure in Mexico's organized crime scene. Her name is associated with controlling crucial drug routes between Mexico and Colombia, and she has become a symbol of the power women can achieve in a world traditionally dominated by men. While her imprisonment marked the end of her reign, her story continues to be relevant in narratives about international drug trafficking and money laundering. La Reina del Pacífico left a deep mark on criminal structures, connecting the Sinaloa cartel with other powerful organizations, and remains an example of cunning, power, and resilience in the world of organized crime. And there you have it, friends. Fascinating stories of women who, though operating in the shadows, managed to leave an indelible mark on the history of crime and espionage. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell so you don't miss out on upcoming episodes filled with mystery, intrigue, and of course, the most surprising stories from around the world. Also, let us know in the comments which of these two figures surprised you the most. See you in the next video. Until next time, explorers of the unknown.